Hi everyone, it's Jackie here from Ascend Financial Freedom with Annabelle.
Hi.
How you going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Very, very good. So today what we are here to talk about is what I think is one of the most important documents a grown-up can have in their arsenal. Because we all know adulting is a tough gig and it is very, very difficult, and we sometimes need a little bit of help. So what we're here today to talk about is wills and estate planning. So I'm going to hand over to Annabelle. You're probably wondering who she is and how I know her. I'll let you explain how we know each other.
How we know each other?
Yep.
Jackie and I worked together in finance about too long ago.
Not quite last century.
No, not quite. Yep. Since then, I've become a lawyer and I practice with Mcaulay Legal. We are a small boutique firm, big about personal service and care. We predominantly practice in construction law and litigation and dispute resolution, but I have a passion for estate planning. So this is why I do all of the Ascend Financial Freedom wills and enduring powers of attorney and things like that.
Well, they're bits and pieces. Well, using some big words there.
I'm using big words.
You are. So obviously most people would know what a will is, but can you explain to us, I guess, the document of what a will is and all the people that are involved in the process, like the names of people and what their roles are?
Yeah. So a will is the document that disposes of all of your property in the event of your death. It also, very importantly, discusses what to do with your children. So who has custody of the children and provides for them financially. So it is a legal tool to look after the people you love.
Yep.
Now the people involved, or the terms involved in a will, you've got your executor, that is the person in charge of that you appoint of disposing all of your assets. So they call in your debts, they pay all your bills, and then they distribute everything accordingly.
Okay.
The beneficiary, they're the people receiving things. So a gift under your will.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yep. What about a power of attorney and enduring power of attorney and medical stuff?
Directives. So a power of attorney deals with your property. There's a power of attorney which deals with it while you have legal capacity. So if you're outside the country and you need to sell a lot of property, if you're outside of the country and something comes up and someone needs to deal with things for you, then that's when you use a power of attorney. An enduring power of attorney kicks into gear when you lose legal capacity. So we're talking about the situation where you're in a coma, you have an acquired brain injury, you have dementia, that sort of thing, severe mental illness, that sort of thing. So
enduring means ongoing, just a normal power of attorney just for a
period of time.
Transaction.
Single transaction, or until, once you lose legal capacity under a power of attorney, then the attorney is no longer your attorney.
Okay, all right.
Or, no longer capable. And then there's the medical directive or advanced health directive, and this tells you tells your loved ones what to do when you do have a situation where you've been in a car accident, you've had a stroke, you're in a coma, that sort of thing. So that's the medical decisions, and it's
the switch.
Switching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the empowering them to make medical decisions on your behalf, which can be very good if you don't have an obvious next of kin, particularly.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So obviously, I believe and I understand that wills are pretty important to have. What happens if you don't have a will? What happens to your stuff?
It depends on your situation. So if you're young and you don't have a lot of assets, you don't have children, then it more than likely will just end up going to your next of kin. If you are older, you've got children, you have a bit of a complicated situation, or even if you don't have a complicated situation, the operation of the law determines where your stuff goes. Now that might not be where you want it to go.
Yeah. I know in different states of Australia there's different laws as to who gets what. So and also with super, with my background when I was a financial advisor, understanding that people nominating people on their super funds as beneficiaries, but at the end of the day, you can only nominate specific people on your super fund as a beneficiary through your super. So if you've got specific people that aren't dependents, dependents. As per the SIS regulations and your technical side of things, it's well worth leaving your super, in some cases, to your estate so that can be distributed via your wishes by the will. But also, it's one of those things when people don't have a will, you know, obviously people are going to be devastated. They're going to be grieving over the loss of you because you're ace. So, you know...
How does it affect them?
How does it affect them?
Well, you can imagine that someone's dropped dead and you are left trying to pick up the pieces emotionally, but also financially in the property. And the anxiety and the stress it causes to have to go through the court process in order to determine where their assets go,
which I'm sure we could all appreciate,
is very stressful. I always say litigation, because this is a form of litigation, is costly both emotionally and financially. So it's very, very expensive.
Yeah. And for all those Thomas the Tank Engine fans out there, it's like what the Fat Controller says when Thomas is in trouble.
It causes confusion and delay.
Confusion and delay. You've caused confusion and delay. And you don't want to do that to your family when you're gone. You want them to just be able to grieve, deal with, you know, pick up their lives and just get on with life without having the extra additional stress of having to deal with your stuff because you've not been grown up enough to do anything about it. So the other thing I wanted to ask as well is, now obviously I have a bias, and you would have a bias as well, because we both understand the importance of a will, but some people try and do things on the cheap and might go to a news agency and get one of those will kits and try and do it themselves. What sort of problems have you seen or are you aware of with people that try and just cut corners, I guess?
Yeah. Look, a will is a very, very formal document, and there are a lot of legal rules that go with it. Those cheap will kits are adequate if you read the instructions properly, you understand them, and you follow it to the T.
Yeah.
Should you have a slightly complicated situation, I'm talking de factos, ex-relationships, divorce, marriage, children, the wicked stepmother, then you need to get advice. You need somebody to talk to you and reality test the situation and find out and tell you what the rules are according to where things are going. Yeah. I mean, this is especially the case that some people, and unfortunately more often than I like to think, want to exclude family members. That's very difficult to do. And so that's when you really need advice and to have somebody talk through exactly what you want and put it down on paper for you.
Yeah. It's all well and good being cheap at the start, but if there's problems or complications once you've gone,
it's expensive at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, confusion and delay. So now I've mentioned with, I guess the other thing I want to let people understand or become aware of is things that people generally don't know about wills and the importance of them. So I mentioned about super before, and you know, leaving it to what you think are beneficiaries. They might not necessarily be seen as acceptable dependents in under the super regulations. So is there anything else with regards to wills that people should know? I think we've actually just covered that.
We have a lot. Look, there's a lot of odd rules and strange situations. There's, you know, if you own property outside of Western Australia, you explain that the rules are different throughout Australia. It's also how you deal with property outside of Western Australia. You might have a previous relationship with no children and you think that there's no way that that person would inherit. They could have a claim that you're not aware of. You've really got to talk through all of the options. There are so many pitfalls that are possible to fall into.
Yeah, and that's why getting someone like yourself to go through that as well. Okay. Also, one thing I wasn't aware of in the early days was about, you know, marriages when there's breakups and then remarriages and all that sort of stuff, like wills become void.
Yes, on marriage and divorce in Western Australia. And we can get around that. So if you're engaged to be married or you're in the process of separating and divorcing, we can account for that in a will. You've just got to know how to do it.
Okay. And you mentioned about a case study.
Yes.
Your farmers.
On my farmers.
Yes.
We had, this is amazing. It's on the public record, so I can discuss it. But basically some Aussie battlers on a farm, split up, did not divorce. So any will made before the financial property split up was fine. Made a formal will while split up. She left everything to her siblings and nothing to her ex
current
ex-spouse.
Yeah.
So husband and wife get back together and they live together for many, many years until she passes away. During that time, their assets get mingled again and they do another will, but they never sign their wills. She passes away, and in that time they've sold a piece of property, their farm, for multi-millions of dollars, in the tens of millions of dollars.
Just a drop in the ocean.
Just a drop of the ocean. And she passes away. Her only former will left everything to her siblings. Despite challenging the will, there wasn't enough evidence and everything went to the siblings rather than the husband.
So even though they got back together and were all lovey-dovey again, just that document wasn't done
right.
Wasn't carried
wasn't
out.
updated.
So he lost
millions of dollars.
Lots. Okay.
And you think that it can't happen to you, but they didn't expect that windfall.
Yeah, just a little drop in the ocean. So look, I guess so we're talking about wills. Obviously, coming back to us, Ascend Financial Freedom, one of the things that we do is we have our Ascend Financial Freedom Academy, coaching academy. So we help people get all their grown up finances, get all their shiz sorted. And one of the things that we do as part of the program is introduce you to come along and do the wills. Now, what we do with the will is a particular document, so that's the legal document. Within the coaching academy, hopefully this isn't too glaring, but we also provide our clients with a beneficiary kit. Now, the beneficiary kit lists all your other stuff, or all the other fluffy stuff, I'll call it. So things like, by the way, I've got a bank account here, there and everywhere. These are my Facebook passwords. These are my internet passwords.
Wipe my browser history.
Please play Akadaka at the funeral and make sure everyone wears orange. All those sorts of things that you're not necessarily going to put in your will, but people need to know about. So that's one of the bonuses that you get if you work with us from the coaching side of things. But one of the best bonuses of working with us as well is that we've actually managed to negotiate a deal with you guys.
Yeah.
So for our clients, we've got, so what are they getting from you?
So for a couple, a simple will is two people, two wills, two enduring powers of attorney for $1,000 plus GST. That includes up to 2 meetings with me to go through all of these questions and these issues and discuss everything. For a single, it is one will, one enduring power of attorney, as long as it's a simple will again. $700 plus GST.
That's awesome value. That is awesome value. Yeah, so thank you. On behalf of you guys, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's awesome. And now you've got, obviously, we have our office here in Wangara, so you can meet with Annabelle here at the office here and say good day to me. Otherwise, you're in
Piara Waters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we can work with you whether you are north or south of the river.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Look forward to it.
Fantastic. Now I can't get over this little girl here. She's looking at you so suspiciously.
Like I said, I'm a lawyer. Everybody looks at me suspiciously.
Very suspicious. So, well, anyway,
cover over.
I've been Jackie.
I've been Annabelle.
And we'll catch you later.
See,
thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And if we manage to get subtitles on the bottom here, just click us. Just send us a little message to say, oi, yay. If you want to book in, message me. We can whether you come through the coaching program or not, you can still use Annabelle's services. Just hit us up, send us a message or give us a buzz. And we will be in touch and we'll get it organised for you because we know that adulting is a tough gig.